Yeah.
Van Glorious Vanguard.
Knowledge born.
Yeah.
United front.
Tell it.
What you want.
To the Knowledge Radio.
We in here. What you got? Dot.
Work hard as a slave to one day be your savior. The wave unwavering. This is a labor of love. Rise with a purpose every day. Invigorated. If we were on TV, we'd be 10 times syndicated. If we waited for validation, a paycheck or accolades, we'd be starved, already lost or ran away. But when you're square solid and you circle too, you don't need a place for silence. The concept is conquered through media, not areas of people activity. A mix that don't lose ethnicity, tightness that don't lose elasticity. Explicitly, this isn't where we give the novice regard. Nah, this is where knowledge is born. Last time that I checked, I'm undefeated. Deliver edicts, can't resist when the gods build and manifest freedom. When lines get crossed, they may push a loss, cause they get handed a check. We kick a can and cancel your cancerous gestures. A prophet vision, precision, the prescription for the sickness is to inoculate your fate with the winning. Arrogant beginnings turn to humble endings. And US with KBA is a win-win. 1K.
Black power, black love, black unity, black family. It's your brother knowledgebornallah here on day 36 of the 100 Days of Motivation Challenge. Wherever you're listening to, make sure you go to www.youtube.com/Do the Knowledge Radio. That's DOTHAKNOWLEDGERADIO. Excited to be continuing on this challenge in this fashion and with the family who has begun to sojourn with us, sharing their stories, leaving their commentary, and all of the things. So honest and thanks to everyone who is sojourning and those that who will sojourn as well on this path. So I wanted to talk about today the word for today or phrase for today is remember the gestation period. Remember the gestation period. In the Holy Quran, it speaks about the creation of man. It speaks about the creation of man in the womb. It speaks about man in the 96th chapter. It says, in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, most merciful. Iqra bismi rabbika Allah. So it says, read in the name of your Lord, who created man from a clot. Just think about the size of a clot, and it shows that there was a process in development. There was a process in development of the body. There was a process in development. It began as a determined idea. Who created man from a clot. So just as your ideas who take shape and form in the gestation period of your mind, of that womb space of your mind, that if it is grown and if it's properly nurtured, it becomes full term in the mind, and then there has to be a delivery process out on into the world. Excuse me. Out on into the world. So these things that we're speaking about today is, don't forget your process. Your process is just as important as your destination. Your birth story is just as important as your entire life story. Those within the span between the two dates, that dash in the middle, your lifespan in the physical world, the lifespan of your idea carries the same significance. The pathway to your goal, your story, the spark, that divine intelligence that exists. You were created from a clot. That spark, again, that clot, shaped and fashioned, and that submit to the will of the time, the prescribed time in the womb space. The idea, before being made manifest in the physical world, has to spend some time in the womb space of the mind, just as we had to spend almost a year before the world saw us. Almost a year before the world saw us in the womb space. And if all of the conditions were not right in the womb space, we would not be seen in the physical world. Almost a year. What have you thought about? What have you cultivated in that womb space? Have you spent a physical birth with this idea that has this burning desire in your mind? Did you properly nurture it and feed it and think about it and talk to it and talk it through and make plans and plan for it? Dedicate a space in the room, in the space in the physical world for your idea to come into fruition. Did you dedicate a space in your house, space in your life? Are you prepared to reorganize your priorities around this particular idea, just as you would for a child coming into the world? Are you prepared to sacrifice? Are you prepared to go without for this idea, for this goal? Are you prepared to be divested and lose sleep and all of these things for this idea that you're excited about in the moment? Have you contemplated the gestation space, the gestation process? Have you reflected upon what it takes to bring life into the physical world? And if you've done those things, then when you look at your existence, you'll look at the lifespan of your ideas in the same way. Something that you want to do, you'll contemplate these decisions, you'll contemplate the choices, you will contemplate if this is something you truly want to pursue. Now, it takes close to a year for birth, but it takes the rest of the life in between the two dates to come into fruition. Create a man from a clot who taught by the pen, taught man what he would never know, taught man what he never knew. In fact, man oversteps all bounds. So the bounty that comes with life, we squander the time we have on the planet and we forsake the journey that brought us to the planet. We cut off relations with the wombs that brought us, that gave us space in that gestational process. We easily sever ties with that womb space, with no reverence for the womb. This is why we see no reverence for the woman. We see no reverence for our women. Our women. We see the exploitation and misrepresentation, but we do not see and have an understanding of the process it is to give life on the planet. It says, in fact, man oversteps all bounds when he considers himself exempt, but to your Lord is the return. So you're going to have to deal with those things. You're going to have to atone for how you spent your life on the planet. You're going to have to atone for all of these divine instructions that came to you with clear and concise guidance that you ignore. You're going to have to deal with those things. So just remembering your journey, those gestation period, those trimesters in the womb space of the mind, and how they begin. These lives that we take on, they begin as a small thing and begin to grow and to develop into great things. But the greatest was its beginning. That evidence, that black dot, that point of reference that life is there in that womb space. And that womb space is suitable enough for life to be cultivated inside of it. So when you look into the unseen recesses of your mind, you know that all of those thoughts that were sent to you, that come from that mind space, are sacred. That come from that mind space, that mind space, that womb space of the mind is optimal for the proper cultivation of that divine instruction. Your body and your mind is the perfect gestational space in order for the things that come out of that mind space to be manifest in the physical world. It comes from the womb space of the mind and it manifests in the physical world by your divine decree and then your physical effort. By your divine decree, by the words that come out of your mouth, by the words that are written down. So this is why I say taught men by the pen. You write a thing, you declare a thing, and then you have an onus after you declare a thing to begin to exert your physical motion to bring it into existence. Your physical dexterity, your intestinal fortitude, the manifestation of your divine will, all there in a space of power to show forth and prove that power. So let's reflect on this gestation period, or these gestational periods that exist within our life, and know that all things begin small, but they don't stay small. So that thing, that divine intelligence that got you sparked, you're responsible for that life. You're responsible for the cultivation and protection of that life that has been entrusted to you on every level. So it's day 36. Day 36. and let's continue to born things in existence that are viable and that are critical and that are beneficial to our future generations. Let's use this clot. Let's use that spark. Let's use that motivation for our destination that we are building. So I'll see y'all back here tomorrow, day 37. Again, while we're listening to it, make sure you go to www.youtube.com/Do the Knowledge Radio. That's DOTHLEGRADIO.
Yeah. Now we gonna tell them. That in front. We tell them like this, yo. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a African. Yeah, y'all like that? So no more. This man's mind is open. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a. Let's get back to the
motive is best developed by recognizing the common enemy.